Hello!
Welcome to this month's Vanners collaboration.
As usual, this video is a collaboration between us and a number of other like-minded YouTubers. It would be good if you can give the other videos in this month's playlist a watch by looking down in the playlist below, and somewhere at the end of the video we'll stick a card in the sky above our heads somewhere.
So, what's this month's theme?
This month's theme is the pros and cons of doing van life full-time. It's something that we've thought about, isn't it?
Fleetingly.
But the moment you get in your van and go somewhere, you just think to yourself, can't this just carry on? We'd like to carry on forever doing this, and then you get back home, you think, it's a bit of a relief to be back home.
And also, when you start to think about the practicalities and the pros and the cons, it's not practical, and there's a lot of cons, in our opinion.
Yes. I think one of the first things you're going to need is, if you decide to pack up, stop renting, sell your house, and end up with no address, that's going to be a bit of a problem for any kind of administrative paperwork, like your
car insurance, motorhome insurance.
Yeah, DVLA, if you're unlucky enough to have any fines, anything like that. So not having an address of your own could be a bit of a problem. Now, I know a lot of people do this with assistance from
friends or family
members who are kind enough to share addresses like that.
But we're not in that position.
We don't have
friends or family that would
take on that extra responsibility.
Yeah.
I suppose another plus factor is you could save a whole lot of money by just permanently going on the road and staying in free and cheap campsites.
That's a massive plus.
It is a massive plus, yeah, and one that is tempting almost every day because of that reason.
We pay
a lot
of money in rent.
Yeah.
Then we pay a lot of poll tax, council tax, whatever you want to call it.
Council tax.
Your insurances, your electric, your gas, your oil. It all adds. If we didn't have to spend that each month whilst continuing working, we would have a massive disposable income between us.
Mm-hmm.
We could afford to stay in campsites that charge £40 a night every night.
I'm sure a lot of people that are doing regular work would also find themselves in that situation. We're not unique in this by a long way. No, not at all.
I mean, we're lucky. Again, we chose not to have children, so we both have well-paid jobs. So we have dual income with,
two dogs.
Yeah. They don't cost us that much. Although their pet insurance is increasing quite a lot now. They're getting to their golden years.
Yes, but it's just, again, insurance will, it doesn't matter what it is, an insurer will find a way to charge you more year on year.
Yeah.
Even if the dogs were getting younger, I'm sure they'll still charge us more.
So again, we understand that different people are in different circumstances. Pete is lucky enough to be able to work from home pretty much whenever he likes.
Yes.
I'm not in that same position. I have to go into the office several times a week, so I have to be within a reasonable commute of the office.
Yeah, many jobs have this requirement, and I tell you what, the winds might be changing, and a lot more people will find having to work from the office more and more these days. Even after some of us were promised we could work from home indefinitely and forever, it doesn't appear to be the case. Waking up every day in a new location, I think that's got to be a big plus. If you want to experience van life, you want to be moving on quite regularly. If the weather starts getting rubbish, you just go somewhere else.
On the con side, if where you've chosen to pitch, wherever you've decided to park your motorhome or camper van for the night is full,
you're moving on again.
That then does become stressful, especially in the especially when the night's drawing quite quickly. It's not pleasant driving around anxiously searching for somewhere in a location that you're not familiar with, and it's going dark.
Another big minus for living in a van full-time is what happens if your home on wheels needs a little bit of maintenance. What then? If in the house, you probably don't have to get a service and MOT once a year and get the wheels changed or the tyres changed and stuff like that. You just it doesn't happen. Of course, houses do have a bit of maintenance to be
Yeah,
performed.
I mean, if your boiler
Yeah.
breaks down at
Yeah.
work, at home, then
But
you
you're still
put a
living in your
you've
house.
still got your house.
You're
You
still
put a
living
couple
in
of
it.
extra layers on.
Yeah.
You might not have a shower for a couple of days if
Yeah.
it affects your hot water, but you don't have to go and pay out to stay in a hotel or inconvenience friends or family by asking to stay with them.
Sure.
Whilst it's nice travelling around, exploring new places, seeing new views and meeting new people, it's still nice to know that you have a base to go back home. When I was ill, we had an instance where the electricity in our home went, and it went in the whole village, and it was due to be out of action for a couple of days. So with hospital drains attached to myself, we took the motorhome to a campsite, and I managed. Well, we didn't have to manage a night, did we?
We didn't. No.
The
As soon as we got
electricity
picture,
came back on.
it did. Yeah.
But I could not have coped with recovering from my cancer operations in a motorhome. You need, personally, again, different people, different views, but personally, in my opinion, I needed somewhere, a home, a base with a proper bed that I could just be ill.
Yeah, and you had a couple of home visits going on, didn't you? It's difficult to organise.
Yes, I had to have nurses every other day, so
I'm not saying that it's impossible.
No.
It's just something extra stressful to think about when you're in a compromised state.
And it's just nice to know that, if the weather's gone a bit bad, you're having a tight month, right, fine, we'll go back to our base, we'll regroup, we'll rethink, we'll have a little chill out there. So I do think it's nice to have a base, especially as we've probably all got stuff that is sentimental to us that you don't really want in storage, or you don't want to be paying out high storage costs. I'm not saying a base has to be bricks and mortar. It could be a static caravan.
Sure.
It could be anything, but something that's yours. You've got an address that you can use. You've got a base you can go back to. And if your motorhome does need work doing on it, that means you can't be in it, you're going to be without it a few days, you've got that base to go back and fall on.
Hang on, we've got to say bye-bye.
Oh. Bye! I'm off. Laters.
Okay, thank you for watching this month's video. Again, a reminder that have a look at the other videos in the playlist that we'll put below, and we'll put a card up at the top of the screen somewhere.
Until next month, bye!
Bye!